Hi. Before we head too far into January, I just wanted to hop on to say a very happy new year to everyone. I'm Rebecca, I'm a volunteer at Juvenile Arthritis Research. We founded the charity 8 years ago in January, so it's kind of our 8th birthday or 8th anniversary coming up this month. And no one could have really predicted just how needed this charity was when we started. So the aim was to look at pushing forward on the research side of things, hence the name Juvenile Arthritis Research, to help get closer towards a cure. But alongside that, we found there were hundreds of families out there needing support services, needing information and resources. So we really kind of just stepped up to fill that gap. When I say we, it's myself and a small group of volunteers, many of whom are parents of children with JAA or have JAA themselves. I've had JAA since the age of 10 myself, as I know some of you will already know. And it was really about just seeing what is needed and doing our best to fill those gaps. And we're just so grateful to everyone who's been supporting us in that and who's come alongside us on the journey to say, the way things were not good enough and we need to do something to make a difference. And this time last year, we were really busy planning for Juvenile Arthritis Month, which was the first ever Juvenile Arthritis Month in the UK, which happened in March last year, and so many of you got involved in that, which is absolutely fantastic. So we had a campaign called More Than My Arthritis, and so many of you and your children and people of all ages from all around the world, because we know, and one of our important messages is actually the term juvenile arthritis does not stop when you reach 16, when you reach 18. If you've had symptoms before the age of 16, then your condition is juvenile idiopathic arthritis throughout life, and it's really important to know that. So it was amazing to see so many people get involved and holding up their posters to show how they are so much more than their arthritis. So thank you to everyone who got involved in that, and please look out for this year's campaign, which will be happening in March. So we call it JAMJAR, Juvenile Arthritis Month by Juvenile Arthritis Research, and it will be happening again in March. So please keep an eye out for more information about that coming soon and how you can get involved. Last year, we also had some amazing new volunteers join us, which enabled us to do things like updating and relaunching our school toolkit packs. So those are available to schools in the UK. They're often requested when a child in that school or setting has JAA, and they're absolutely packed with resources and information to support that school to be able to better support that child. So if your school hasn't had one, please ask them to request it. We do ask that the school requests it, because that way we can make sure it's getting to the right person, and we can follow up and giving them any extra support, any one-to-one support they need as well. We had our conferences happening last year, so we were invited to various conferences such as the British Society for Rheumatology conference and EULAR to present some of our research and to present on some of our kind of best practice examples of what we're doing here in the UK, where other organisations around the world can learn from what we do, which sounds bizarre saying that because we are such a small charity, and yet we have been seen as leading the way when it comes to JAA in terms of support services, in terms of some of the resources we have. So our My JAA booklet has been translated into various languages by others around the world. The Kippo book, which we've adopted to use in the UK, that has also been translated into various other languages, which we make available on our website. So it's just been amazing to see how things have grown to support more and more people over the years. Last October, we also had Michelle, Tim and Becca, who attended the Royal College of GPs conference to raise awareness of JAA amongst that really vital audience of GPs, because when a child first presents with symptoms, that is one of the first places a family may turn to find out what is going on with my child. So that audience is really vital, just to raise awareness. Yes, you can be a baby and have arthritis. Yes, you can be a young child and have arthritis. So they did a fantastic job at that conference. We're really grateful for their support there. Let's not forget how instrumental books have been over the past year. So we have for many years been using the Kippo storybook and the Peg Leg storybook to help children and young people understand their own condition and what it entails. But in 2025, we had the launch of Sky Surfing, which was a fantastic collection of poetry by the Dirigible Balloon children's poetry website, and they did that with all the funds raised coming to support Juvenile Arthritis Research, and we're so grateful for all their support. So that's been absolutely incredible. And of course, Kyle, one of our young people, JA, he wrote a poetry collection of poems himself called Chronically Coping, about his own experiences of living with arthritis, with proceeds coming to JAR again. So, and that book is absolutely amazing. So if you haven't ordered that, then please do, because it is a really, really brilliant collection of poems that he's written there. And in last summer we had the launch of our Bookshare, which was a way of children being able to help raise awareness themselves in their communities by leaving one of their pre-loved books for another child to find, with the message about children getting arthritis. And that helped raise awareness in all sorts of communities across the country, where families were finding books and going, I did not know that children can get arthritis, and it just helped raise that awareness message in a really innovative way. So that was fantastic, happening all through the summer. So there's no reason why that can't continue going forward. So next summer, look out for information about that and how to get involved. Of course, we've had our regular parent Zoom sessions continue through the year, and it's always amazing to see the same people coming back to support each other and to support newly diagnosed families as well. So we've loved getting to know you, and we're so grateful to everyone who attends, and it's just so heartwarming to see those levels of support for each other, and that just that understanding to be in that community and connected with others who get what it's like to have a child with JA. Because I know from my own personal first-hand experience growing up with JA, when there was no connection, there was no way. I literally knew nobody else who had JA when I was growing up as a teenager with JA, and I just feel that it's such an important thing that we're able to offer the community now, and how the people in our juvenile arthritis research community just support each other so well, and that is just it's really, really heartwarming to see. And we're so grateful to everyone who does that, who gives up their time, either as a volunteer or just coming along to our parent Zoom session to support others. So thank you. And we also had a very, very exciting development where we knew that young people wanted something like parent Zoom for themselves. And so Sarithi, one of our amazing young volunteers, spoke with a group of young people aged 18 to 30, and they have set up their own network called Joint Voices. So those are complemented with Zoom sessions, regular Zoom sessions as well, and those young people are involved in developing what those sessions look like, so whether it's having a guest speaker, the topics they speak about. And again, that's a really encouraging development, because if you're a young person with JA, you don't want to be having to go through that alone. So that connection, that's the connections that have been made there, again, really valuable and something to build on. That's a very new initiative, so it's something that's just going to be built upon going forwards. In terms of in-person events, we had a couple of local events through the year last year, and then we had our Central London event at the F1 Arcade, which we called Racing for a Cure for JAA, because that is what we all want ultimately, is that cure for JAA. And it was a chance for families to come together, to connect, again, just support each other and know and understand what you're each going through, and for children to meet other children and young people to meet other young people with JAA. That just makes it so worthwhile, because some of those children will have never met anybody else with the same condition as them, and it means so much to them to be able to go and do a fun event with someone else who they don't even need to explain their condition to, because they just know that this other person here understands what I'm going through. They understand what it's like to have the treatments, the injections, the blood tests, everything else, all the hospital appointments. And yeah, those friendships that were formed that day that continue on, you know, again, that is just so precious and so valuable and so amazing to see. So that kind of brings us towards the last quarter of last year, and of course we had our Christmas appeal at the end of the year with Martha's powerful story, and that Christmas appeal is still open on our website. So now that the busy season of Christmas has all calmed down, if you do find you have any spare pence, anything you can manage, any amount, please do pop along to our website and see if you can donate any amount to our Christmas appeal, because it would be so valued. And we cannot do what we do without donors, fundraisers. We had so many amazing people doing incredible challenges all throughout 2025 that would deserve an entire video of its own, because you've just been out there doing such incredible things, whether it's cake sales, whether it's runs, whether it's walking, cycling. You have been doing so many brilliant things, challenges that are just, you know, mind-blowing challenges, and we're just so grateful, because yeah, we literally couldn't be here doing what we do without you. So yeah, thank you. You make it possible for juvenile arthritis research to continue. And we have so much planned for 2026. As I've already mentioned, we have got Juvenile Arthritis Month coming up, so please keep an eye out for that. because it's just not enough still, because until every person in the world knows that children can get arthritis, our work isn't done. We have to keep raising awareness. And ultimately, we want that cure. We don't just want better treatments. We don't just want our children to be understood better and have their needs met better. We actually want to keep pushing forward to say, ultimately, our children want to live their lives as normally as possible and achieve long-term remission. So that is what we are pushing forward for, and that remains in our sights. And we believe it one day it will be possible. So it is just a case of we will keep pushing forward, and we will keep demanding that with all the research partners that we work with, and through everything that we do, we will keep that in our sights as the ultimate aim. But in the meantime, we are here to offer support and to be there to raise awareness as well, which is our other kind of underpinning core aims, really, as part of what we do. And really all that's left for me to say is to say I hope 2026 treats you well, and thank you so much for being part of our journey, because we would not be here without you. So thank you so much for everything you do to support us.